from a very early stage. It was an unlikely connection because António was a particle physicist, and so it wasn't really fitting to the strong gravity, kind of naively at least. But gravity and particle physics have a lot to do with it, and especially for someone that did his PhD in my generation, and Eugene will probably say the same thing, in which it was gravity, from the perspective, say, of string theory, was very much connected. The key problems in gravity were faced to be high-energy physics problems, like the singularity, the quantization of gravity. So the connection with high-energy physics was very, very strong. And actually, but to have some particle physicist that's not the string theorist was something that I faced as being very interesting. So more real-world particle physics, although António was working on supersymmetry, and we know what happened to that. But anyway, so it was really not only a great scientific addition to the group, but of course António is also a great mentor for many students, has been throughout the years. So it's really a great pleasure to have you here today, António.
Yeah, thank you very much. I thought you didn't see my talk because what I want to say fits very neatly.
I didn't.
Yeah. And in fact, so I'm going to give more of like my personal experience here in the group. I'm not going to be exhausted in any science. It's more like my experience. And in fact, I want to start exactly from this perspective. I remember like around 1 year before finishing my PhD, I had a friend here doing some meteorology stuff, João. So he was doing some master or PhD, I think, even project here in the physics department, and António Morais. I talked to him 1 year before finishing my PhD, saying that if he had any ideas for postdocs in Minho, at Minho University, and he said, well, but he was doing theory, it's not, I don't know, in Porto, Miguel Costa, but he does string theory ideas. I was not very keen on that. And what about talk to Carlos Ardeiro in Aveiro? What does he do? So it's black holes, gravity, no, forget about it. Not even going to consider, I don't think about Porto, not even consider Aveiro. Then I came here to visit my friends that was here, and he said, oh, Carlos, I talked to him, and I will introduce you to him. Okay, let's do that. Then we go for our own business, but let's do that. And when I got here, João introduced me, João Sousa introduced me to Carlos, and Marco Sampaio, that I thought he would be here maybe later today. I saw Marco Sampaio, and I had met Marco a few months, maybe also 1 year before in Durham in this Siri meeting, and he was doing stuff that I was identifying with. Oh, Marco is here. Okay, maybe I should consider this possibility for my future then. And in that day, I switched my immediately. It was like a spontaneous. It's not explicit, but spontaneous change of minds. And I asked Carlos, oh, would you be keen on supporting a postdoc FCT application? And Carlos, yeah, let's see what you do. And yeah, okay, I think it's a good idea, particle physics. This same speech that Carlos gave right now was our discussion that day. And from that day onwards, I was obsessed with that. This is going to be my future, and actually Roman is here. And I want to do a mixed stuff, and also asked Roman, okay, I want to do this mixed stuff, I want to spend time in Lund, and so on. So there was also work on that perspective. So I did this mixed first part of postdoc with spending several months in Lund and the time here. And in fact, as a particle physicist, I need to, how do I move? Like this. This was like a spontaneous career path. So I started from a PhD with some like local minimum there. I was stable for 4 years there in Glasgow, and then I came to my postdoc here at Grad, but I was pure particle physicist working on Gaussian-unified series, collider phenomenology of Gaussian-unified series. But the decision to come here, as I explained, was not something planned with several years and this is the most natural way. No, it was something that happens. So the spontaneous breaking of the original symmetry drove me here. But of course, it was only a postdoc, and position was not permanent by definition. And so actually away from this medium, I didn't know if it was local or global. That I could not know until 1 year ago, approximately. But then, my early days here, I collaborated a lot with Marco Sampaio, that I believe will be here today. And if you see, my work was essentially in particle physics to loop stability of complex singlet extension of the standard model, scalar, more loop calculations, radiative origin of the standard model from trinification, a unified theory with Roman. And this one was even before we came to sigma, like type 3N at physics. Then also work on like reviving trinification model through E6 extended supersymmetric supersymmetry, as Carlos mentioned. More stuff like hierarchies in a fermion cycle, like scalar keys, symmetry breaking, particle, what is written there? Particle spectrum in sp3 family, extended SUSY trinification. So what does it have to do with gravity? And in fact, it didn't have much to do. And I was a little bit uneasy with that and said, Carlos, do you want to participate in one of these papers and shall we do something? Oh, no, calm down. Anything will come naturally. You don't need to force. We don't need to force ourselves to do something that at the moment. If things have to happen, they will happen. And in fact, and Roman is here, I mentioned, so Roman was also, if you see Roman is, if not in all these papers, most of them, and Roman came here for several visits, so was also a collaborator from the group, from early stages. And, but the years passed, and after the discovery of gravitational waves, and also in connection with the previous talk, the possibility of looking to the primordial universe, where particle cosmology and particle physics play a crucial role, I decided, okay, I want to do this. And if you see the titles here and the titles of more recent stuff, sorry, the other direction, things changed. So I start looking like primordial black holes and magnetic fields in conformal neutrino mass models. So mixing gravity with particle physics. Things like gravitational waves from supercooled phase transitions in Majorana models of neutrino mass. And also synergies more down to the ultralight bosonic stars that the group is doing. So the ultralight bosons for strong gravity applications from simple standard model extensions. So you see here the deep connection, and this was actually with Carlos. Philippe was a postdoc we had here, myself, António Morais, Roman, Eugene, that is there, Nico, and also Rui Sanz, another particle physicist that is based in Lisbon. And also João Gonçalves that is here. So, my first PhD student is about to defend in the next few months. It's not yet decided the date, but it will be soon. And João is also in all these papers here, not this one here, but these papers and many other papers. João was a very good also addition to this business here. So this happened naturally. And there is more than this paper in collaboration with Carlos. We have another one now ongoing. There was another one also with machine learning. I just didn't have space to put all here and not wanting to be exhaustive. So all of this, and this was actually because of being here that my career path changed. Being here or being somewhere else, it would have been a different career path. And even research-wise, because I got motivated and I got curious and the willingness to do something that I would possibly have followed a different research direction if my environment was different. Because you are shaped by the environment where you are. And the fact of being here was the environment to shape the research that I'm doing now and bringing to other places at the moment. So, along the same notes, initially, I was going wrong direction. Now, I think the potential is more a minimum than before. I came from Graph, and now it brought me to Ming University and another institute. I'm a collaborator of Graph still, and I want to keep on being a collaborator of Graph. I'm really very thankful for the 11 years that I was here and for the doors that Carlos opened me. And also, I want to finish in a different note, which is this pictures here and the other one was my first try with AI to produce some visualization. And I thought it would be easier. It's nothing like this. I need to talk to Pedro. Because
I never said it was easy.
because I was really getting mad. I started a discussion with Perplexity, and the first thing I asked is, please give me a potential where in the minimum I have graph and use graph letters. I gave all the information, and of course I will. And this was the first thing that that Perplexity given me. Even I don't understand this axis here. Then I said, no, please give me something more Mexican hat like. And I want to sit in the minimum. There should be a maximum. Okay, there you go. You have your maxima here. No, but not really. No, and this is not the style I want for graph. Please, you can do better. Of course, here you have. And starting inventing like new graph logos and some wormhole or whatever or black hole here. I don't know. And actually, the career path that actually I was discussing Rome yesterday, maybe he was true because these 11 years, not because of being here, but because of how things are, were, I think we had to push a lot in order to reach and it's the same story for Miguel, the same story for Pedro, the same story for everyone and for all the others that have gone through this process. I'm really not sure that it's coming to a minimum, this process. But I keep on insisting, no, give me something better. Okay, here you have something better. I wanted also to include this was for just the first step from PhD to graph, and then I also asked Perplexity. Now, after getting the very first potential that I showed in the beginning, I asked. Now I want also to include the PhD, graph, and my new position in Braga. So I want another minimum, like sort of a next Mexican hat, a next minimum. Of course, I can do that for you. And then this was still the other one with some like 2 parallel universities, I don't know. But after this one, I asked, no, give me the 3, so a maximum, a minimum, and a deeper minimum. Here you have your PhD, graph, and then something there. And it's not working. Okay, so what about this? And no, it's not working, I don't like it. Okay, maybe this, you have like something that I don't know. I have no idea whatsoever is this here. Then grab some special position here, I don't know. Ming University, live, I don't even understand this. And this is when I start to be mad and insulting Perplexity, really insulting. And after insulting, this was the first thing it gave me. And then, no, but I want a Mexican hat like thing. Oh, Mexican hat, you could have said. So here you have your Mexican hat. and live, and so that's it. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So it shows that you can use machine learning, but you have to learn how to use it. Thank you very much. So this ends the morning session. I would like to ask you now to take the group picture. So we will